Yes, panoramic openings.
The moderators are in there.
Is it broke?
Okay, going now. Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Flory Models, stroke PM Models, stroke anything else you want to call it. Saturday live show. We're with you till around about sort of midday. Let's just keep going. Got nothing else to do, to be honest. Puts me off doing pigments.
Hey?
Otherwise, I've got to do pigments. So yes, no, we know you can hear us. That's why we do it. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hello to obviously everybody in Floryland as well, who's over there in the chat. Nice to see a load of you in there. As always, let me just mute that. Otherwise, it's going to start pinging at me in a minute. There we go. So there we go. That's all sorted. And good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are in the world, to YouTube land as well. Look at that. Good evening from New Zealand. And we've got Sweden, Germany. Loads of people all in there. Trust you're all doing very, very well. Another week is over. So, yes. How are we doing, guys? You all right, Matt?
I'm very well, actually. Yes.
Good.
Yes, I'm rearing to go.
Raring to go. Andy, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you very much. Not too bad at all.
Coiled springs all sat there.
Yes.
So, right, let me just test all the cameras because I've had to move around again because why not? So, anyway, you've got me with the guys each side. That's good. And then, obviously, we've got Matthew. He's very big. Look at the size of that. Right, okay. We've got a giant Andy as well. Andy, you're very clear today.
Right.
It must be John Buller. When John's on, it screws up everyone's internet.
And his own.
Yeah, and his own.
Yeah.
Has he got it fixed yet? Or is he still rubbing sticks together to send signals?
I've not heard from him, so I've got no idea.
I think he's working. But yeah, I must admit, he's got a bit of trouble with his old internet. Well, it's not his internet. It seems to be fine. If anyone knows, it's just every time he goes on Skype, it just won't handle it. So
Weird. It's proper weird how it does it. Because everything, like I say, everything else is working perfectly for him. Because on Skype, it's just 10 seconds, he locks up and freezes in 8-bit and everything. So, don't know.
Yes. Never mind. We'll try and work that out and get him up to speed and going again. So anyway, plan of action this morning. Obviously, we do some building as we go right the way through. My plan is, to be honest, just before we came on out, I've sprayed the underside because obviously we put the doors on last time to do that. So that's just a little bit tacky. But what I'm going to do is we're going to get a satin coat over this. So we'll lose that glossy finish it's got. And then plan of action really is to go around, do the doors, do the windows. I get the gear installed onto it and we do all the props and things like that. And then I think that'll probably take us through to now. And then next week or whenever we're on, probably for another, May Day bank holiday or whatever, we'll be doing the weather into this one, and then we're going to mount it, water dropping and stuff as well. So that's my plan of action. So what have you got, Matt? What are you up to?
So I have been playing with, I've got some decals on the little
decals are on. Yes.
And I've just given it, just because they're quite glossy, a flat coat.
Yes.
Just going to let that dry, so that can then, I'm going to do a bit of detail painting, obviously the tracks, the rubber tyres, bit of the tools and the cans on the front. So I might do that in a bit. Also, I have dug out, which was going to be a video build, but I've changed my mind. I'm just going to do it as a stream build.
Yeah.
So this is the old Tamiya 222.
Little tank.
Gruber's little tank, which is one of these.
Yeah.
So this is the newer boxing, but obviously the molds are from, 75, something like that. So you do get a few little goodies. Look, they give you some
bit of photo etch. Yeah.
And a gun barrel, which is nice, and some jerry cans and stuff. And also I've been fighting or playing with, I've got an etch set, so I've been using a bit of the etch, as you can see, on certain parts that's probably worth having the etch.
Very nice.
So there's a bit there and then a bit of, this is seen on the gun. So I'm going to do a bit of assembly on that for an hour, and then I think I might switch to the Sherman.
Right.
And also what I've been up to is nickel figure.
Nice.
So I've done a bit of work on his head. Zoom in. So I've added a bit of colour to his head. Did a bit more blending and touching in. So he's coming out. So I'm quite proud of that. It's quite all right, I've got to say.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then, like I said, the uniform, I've started on his smock.
Mm-hmm.
So
and reattached him to his foot.
And reattached him to his foot. Yeah, so I started just put some base coats down, and then I've got to do the splinter mustard camo.
Yes.
I was looking for reference stuff for it, but we'll see. Yeah, that's another thing, ongoing project. So I think that'll, between the tutu and the Sherman, I think that's me done today. So what I was up earlier, as you can see, I've been
getting
my palette
ready.
Sorted.
Do you know, you need the one with a thumb hole in it, like a proper artiste, you know.
Yeah.
Mr. Bob Ross it with a, you know, knock one out. I mean, brush, clearly.
Yeah.
With clean your brush.
They're draining nicely, as you can see, all the oil, linseed oils coming out of those. So they're all Abteolum 502. So can run through what they are later on, if anybody's interested on what my colour palette is. If I can remember. So, yeah, that's going to keep me occupied for a couple of hours, I think.
Very good. Excellent. I'll just do two little questions here. John says about the Goozy stuff, can you spray it neat or thinned? Yeah, spray it neat. It's thin. It's very, very thin. Just straight neat coat and you'll be absolutely fine for it. And the other one is Jeremy gets a shout out 'cause it's 2 a.m. in San Diego and he's up watching.
Yeah, definitely. So. Commitment.
Yes, good. And apparently we've got the pictures the right way round, have we?
I think we haven't got thumbnails on.
Yeah, it's because we haven't got a thumbnail, so you can't see because I fixed the problem. So yes, that's it. That's how you don't have the problem. Although I don't know, Matt seems to be the right way round in there. And then I don't know. I think we are okay actually. Yeah, no, I have no idea. It's smoke and mirrors to me. I don't know how this all works.
Are we normally back to front then?
We do sometimes. For some reason, our thumbnails point in the different way to the other side. But why that is, no idea. I have no idea at all. Anyway, Andy, what do you got? How's the Spitfire doing?
It's coming on. I'm carrying on doing it. I'm just.
I'm not sure about that wheel well colour though. What, you know?
Me, Azora green.
Don't get involved.
It's not.
Here we go again. He's done that. He's pulled the trigger. He's done it.
No, it'll be fine. I'd say I've just done the. Where's the camera gone? Say which camera I'm on. So I've just started done the inside the intakes and what have you, and so like and the radiators and what have you. Just I can't. Why? Which camera am I on?
You're on this one, the one closest.
That's
it. That's the one.
That's the one.
Right. So I've started done the radiators and things. So all ready to start putting together.
Yes, it's all blue.
Azure blue.
Yeah, it's going to be a.
Looks a bit blue to me. I think it needs to be more purple.
I think it's his lighting's bad. That's what I think.
It's one of those colours. Until you put another colour next to it, it looks wrong.
Yeah,
it's one of those colours. I often had it, and you do it sometimes, and you paint it, and you put down one colour, especially if it's an underside colour, and you just doubt yourself because it looks completely wrong. But then you put the top colour on, and it works. So it's definitely. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
What I can't understand is why on the instructions it shows the actual wheel wells as the bottom colour.
Yeah.
Yet the wheel well bit here, where the actual strut goes into, is silver. Well, surely they've just got the spray gun and sprayed the whole lot, one colour.
I think people in after the war overcomplicate things because they were definitely not that complicated when they were sprayed up.
No, not at all. Do
you know what? You know that silver. I suppose how the landing gear is, there would have been loads of overspray because they wouldn't have masked it. They'd have just painted the blue over the top of whatever was underneath it, and whatever got where it did, or they would have done a rough mask just to stop it going on any hydraulics or something where they don't want it. But I don't think they'd have been very careful. They just want to get it.
So what used to happen was, as I say, I can speak for Lancasters because I used to have a relative who used to spray them. As they said, they used to just chuck rags in holes and then spray. That's literally what they used to do, is what he said. They literally went through, and a bit like the wheels and the hubs and that, they used to have like big covers and they would chuck over those and then spray legs and things, and anything delicate, they used to literally tie rags round it. It wasn't like masking tape you do now. It was literally just tying rags to things to protect them.
Yeah.
So, but completely thing. Speaking of which, I tell you what I did get this week. I was speaking to a relative of mine, and I found out about my great-grandfather because he was a captain in World War One.
All right.
On the SS, get this, I didn't realise what his ship was called, and it was the SS Lone Fanny, right? The trouble is, if you put that in Google, that's not what comes up.
You could say you don't want to be Googling that.
Yes. So yeah, Captain Flory, he was on a, I can't remember how they describe it, but technically it's a decoy ship. It's one of those ones which then the German sub would surface and they'd shove all the guns out and blow it to bits. But he did a very heroic thing. Some ship got torpedoed and they went alongside and saved all the crew with the subs were still there. So, but anyway, he was mentioned in dispatches and all things like that, or whatever they had back then in World War One. And I've got a letter written from the captain of the whatever it was that sunk, and thanking him for staying behind, picking up all the crew, and he was like happy to report that the crew was all fine and everything. And then the sad tale to all of this one is that literally he came home from leave from that. He got scratched by a cat and died of septicemia.
Oh, crikey.
Jesus.
It's like, what the hell? It's just, yeah. So, but yes. But if anybody's got any information on the SS Lone Fanny, it was like, when I got told this, I was like, you're having a laugh, aren't you? And it's like, no, seriously, it is. And now I've got proper records of it and all the rest of it. But yeah, when you try and Google it, other things come up. So you have to be a bit careful. So, but yes, it was Jeff. It was a Q ship. But
Q ship. All right, okay. There you go.
Fine, right. I'm just checking down in here. We're all good. So, usual thing, guys. If anybody's putting up questions in chat, if we don't answer it, just keep posting them up. We will get to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, obviously, other people in chat, both chats are running today, can answer any questions you might have as well. So, go for your life on that one. But yes, good morning, Christopher. You're up early.
Yeah, Chris is up. Morning, Chris. Still waiting for the brushes. I'll let you know when they turn up. But yeah, if you want to just put question first so we can see it. If
you write question and then go, or just put a capital Q, couple of dots and then off, and it will stand out so we can actually see them. But I often get people message me afterwards saying, hi Phil, I tried to answer a question, you didn't reply. And then it's like, it's not personal, because I think people sometimes take it the wrong way. It's not that we're avoiding or not saying them, it's just that it moves so quick. If it's not on the screen when I look up, you know what it's like, it's gone. So, but yeah, apologies. But I have been also trying to answer a lot of questions, obviously, because there's comments now on YouTube, there's comments obviously on all our social media, and that is all coming back to life. I'm finding it a little bit of a tricky to answer everybody straight away. So again, if you don't get one straight away, I do keep them all separate, and I will answer them as soon as I can get around to getting, whatever the information you need as well.
Yeah, we'll get there, won't we? We'll get there.
It's fine.
I say, if we're all heads down, we can't really see the chat, but we'll try and alternate so somebody's actually watching something, if you know what I mean. So,
just a quick one for Matt then. Wayne is saying about the size of your green paper or your green card. Is it A2 or A3? A2, isn't it? A2. Yeah. About the size we're cutting, Matt.
Yeah, give or take A2. Yeah. I just quite like it as a background now instead of a cutting mat. The colour.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to green screen him one day and I'm going to put something behind.
Yes.
Now he's got that, I can do that with the software we've got here. I can actually green screen something really inappropriate. As he's going to be doing something detailed painting with his oils, I'm going to green screen something onto that. But it'll have to be a late night show, I think.
I'll just change the paper then if you're going to be like that. Childish.
But it will be perfect. Having a green one, that's just going to work so well. Good job. Right. Okay. Yeah, look, you give terrible advice, remember? This is true. I don't know why anybody would ask me anything, clearly.
Did you ever reply what the advice, what he was talking about?
No. They got a clue. Terrible.
It was just funny. It was the first comment we've had in 10 years, and that's the first one you get. And it was like, really? Seriously?
Well,
you say to yourself, like, the reason you don't do it, it just proves you're right. It's like, okay, see? But I'm going to be good. I'm going to persevere with it. Deal with the trolls.
Question. Right. Hey, I've got a question. Good morning to all of us. What's the best PSI to spray gauze?
Very thin. It's a thin paint. So again, you've got that thing when it's a thin paint, or in this case clear, you don't need much power to push it. And obviously, because it's a gloss, you want to be close. So very low. you know. And as I say, I don't do the old PSIs, but it's that thing. If it feel like it's flooding or it's running away or getting really foggy, clearly you're in too much air pressure. You need to bring it right down. But because it's a gloss coat, you want to put it on thin, and it is thin anyway, and you want to be nice and close. So both of those means it's going to be a very, very low air pressure. So what you want to do is knock it back until it's not atomizing properly, and then just turn it up a little bit until it does. So that's the easiest way to it. Again, listen to your airbrush. And I know some people, you know, which quite rightly have said, can I do a short video on listening to an airbrush? And to be honest, I have got almost a 300 quid microphone above me. So I could probably do it if we do it quite quietly and I move the mic in nice and close. And I will do a video about listening to your airbrush. And that way you can hear when it's struggling, and that means when to up the air pressure and when to add thinners and stuff like that. And you're quite right, because I know in a lot of the videos I said you can hear it, you probably can't, because again, because they're good microphones, they're cancelling out a lot of the crappy noise. But it is that crappy noise we want to hear. So you want to hear your airbrush, that bit where it crackles almost, because it's having trouble atomizing. You know, it's not just a flow of air, it's struggling. You can hear that. Again, it's the same way. But I will do one. I will do a video on that.
Would you roughly say 10 psi? If you're gonna,
yeah, if you're doing the PSI, you're going to be down. I would say definitely sub 12 PSI. You know, you want enough to get it to go on there and stick, but you don't want it to go on dry. You want it when you're spraying it, it looks wet, as we've spoken about before. You get that dry coat, put a nice misty coat on first, so it's got plenty of bite, something to grip onto and go through. But as I said, personally, I'm used to spraying lacquers, and when I sprayed this, I did flood it. So I did end up with runs and drips all down the bottom here. So I had to go along with a brush afterwards and just pull it off because it was too wet and it was running down the sides. But that said, it dried beautifully. It actually went on really, really nice and a really nice glossy finish. And considering said this was over everything that was flat, it's gone on really, really nicely. So yeah. So definitely one of those ones where, you know, as I say, just take your time with it. Gently build it up, but that last coat you'll be nice and wet. And even if you do it in two halves, so do a top half of your model, then do sides, then do the bottom, so you've got somewhere to grab it and stuff like that.
Like you said in the past, though, actually saying what PSI it is depends so many different factors, and also is your actual regulator on your compressor right? Yeah, we actually put it. If it's saying 10 psi, you're actually putting 10 psi out. Probably not. Yeah, if it was something like what Matt used to use, you know, as a professional sprayer, then they probably were right. But yeah, on a modelling,
no, I tell you what, half the time they weren't.
Yeah,
because they always need recalibrating after a long, you know, certain amount of time. So to be honest, we were in the same thing. You just experience. You just go by ear.
Yeah,
you never go by what gauge says. You know, really, I think mainly we were like at 2 bar, give or take around that, but you just do it by ear. So
again, the trouble you got is that it's scaling, isn't it? Because you say spraying at 2 bar sounds quite a lot, you know, but you're doing big areas, so you need enough material going through. When you're dealing with an airbrush, you're scaling everything back and down again, isn't it? Because you're not doing a nice, you know, 1 foot area. You're trying to spray in one pass. You're trying to do a, you know, perhaps 1 centimetre area.
Oh yeah. You got to, obviously, you know, size of what you're painting and the gun you're using as well. You know, it's a full size spray gun, so it's going to need a lot more power, a lot more air pressure to.
You know, it's a bit like Matt got me when we did first time I properly got into gloss was thanks to Matt, and he taught me how to spray when I did the Ducati. And again, we used car paint for that, and it was thinned down Ducati paint.
Yeah.
But you have to thin it way more than obviously you do if you were putting it through a full size spraying gun, you know. So I was, otherwise it's like molasses. So it's like, you know, you're really, really bringing it back, but you're building it up and going through. It's all the same principles. It's just your downscaling. Quick question from Mr. McCluskey for Matt. I've used Tamiya Pearl Clear over gloss white, and after a while it seems to have gone off white. Will it go the same if I use pearl white instead of clear? Right.
So hold on. I've used Tamiya Pearl Clear over a gloss white. It seems to have gone off white. Pearl white is because it's got the pearl in it. That sounds a daft thing to say, but it does look an off-white colour. I painted a Mark 1 Golf convertible in pearl white. Cool, but it's got more of a bloody thingy paint, Magnolia. It looks that colour. Will I get the same if I use pearl white instead of clear? I've never used it, Rob. I've never used the pearl, so I can't really advise you on it because I've not tried them. I think pearl white should be actually pearl white and not sort of the magnolia colour. But never having used any of them, I can't really tell you what's what, to be perfectly honest. Give it a go on a test piece and see what happens. I won't whack it on your model just to see if it does it. Yeah, sorry I can't be a bit more helpful than that, but like I said, I've never tried them, so I don't know. It's something to give a go, really. I might do my motorbike in it. Hold on. Excuse me, gonna sneeze. God.
Okay, question for Andy. Tamiya 135th scale T62. Is it the worst kit ever?
Yeah.
No.
I would say the worst kit ever. It's one of Tamiya's worst kits ever.
Why is it though?
Because it was one of the original motorized ones that they did. So it was designed to have the motor in, and the way it goes together at the back end doesn't go right as a model without the motor section in. So it just doesn't really go together properly.
Fair enough.
It'll build together and it'll look like a T62. It does go together, but it's not a Tamiya quality that you'd expect.
A modern day Tamiya quality.
Yeah. Not even like the old ones, really. It's it is quite a poor.
Is that just because of the motorized bit?
Yeah, I think so, because it was designed for that. Yeah.
I'm surprised they've actually not retooled it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Clive says, Phil, you could do a YouTube collaboration with, I'm not going to butcher his name, naval historian or historiographer, whatever they call it, on the SS Lone Fanny.
You could.
I could.
I did actually have a quick Google for it when you were talking about that.
What came up, Andrew?
Yeah, make sure Safe Search is on. Found.
All I got was fanny packs. But then I also got an SS Florian came up.
All right. I don't know about that one.
Which was weird. Well, that was just doing that same search. So why that came up?
No idea, but I must admit I was given it yesterday. Thursday night. I was out, and one of my family gave me the historical document of it, the original telegrams that were sent, the copies of them, and it was like I didn't know about that. That was the thing. I didn't know he'd rescued the ship and all the rest of it and stayed behind to pick them all up. Yeah,
well, SS ships, merchant ships.
I don't know, but I know his was armed because he was a decoy ship.
Yeah,
he was just apparently it was quite a risky job. They would just float around and pretend to be really, really crap, and sometimes have engine problems. So they would just sit there bobbing in the sea, hoping to get shot at or get a sub come up and surface and literally say surrender. And then obviously it's got guns all over it, so she was armed. Yeah,
it's obviously cheaper for the subs to use their deck gun than a
torpedo.
Torpedo, isn't it? So.
But yeah, the ironic thing was, and it's about not being funny, the horrible thing is, but both my grandfathers were killed through non-action related wartime issues. So I had one that his aeroplane literally had engine failure and he crashed and ditched, and everyone made it out apart from him. And that was on the Warwick, on the Vickers Warwick. And then obviously with him on the other side, it was like he obviously got scratched by a cat and died of septicemia after going through World War One with everything going on with that. So it's like, couldn't make it up.
Couldn't really.
I would do. I would have to be honest. I was aware of the SS Lone Fanny. It's like something from a Carry On film. It's a bit of a funny joke. Like it is. You just imagine it was on the SS Lone Fanny. It's like, has he made that up? But no, it is true. And it was one of those ones where it was like, it would be nice to find out, but I have no idea what the ship was or anything else like that. All I know is it was a decoy ship and was armed. So yes, there you go. Apparently SS means steamship. Well, don't forget, this is World War One. This was.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
Yeah, but still, if the Navy, it'd be HMS, though, wouldn't they? Surely.
I have no idea how it all works. But yes, Captain Flory. Right. Okay. So, where are we? Right. Okay. Hold on. I've got questions in here as well. Hold on. Let me just find them. Why did you decide to turn on comments in YouTube? Method madness. Yeah. I have no idea.
He's asking himself the same question.
Yeah, I am. Literally about 10 minutes after I put them up, then I was asking why have I done it. I'll tell you that. But again, it's one of those things. We just want to be a bit more all-inclusive and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, we have YouTube somewhat locked. You have to be a subscriber to go in live chat, as in a YouTube subscriber to the Flory model channel. It's not like you're just open to the masses. So that does keep a lot of the idiots away. It's one of those things. I just thought it'd be quite nice to get a bit of feedback and various things from that as well. So clearly regretting it now. Jokes aside, only started modelling about a year ago, but your videos have helped me a lot. Don't get me wrong, I've spent a lot of money, but it's been worth the while. It's as I say, I think it's a great hobby. I've been promoting this hobby now for the last sort of 20 years, and it was one of those things. In the early days, I was doing it because it was dwindling, and now I think it's growing again. As I say, COVID, as horrible it was, I think did the hobby a world of good.
I was sat here yesterday talking to Matt whilst he was looking through his photo etch and mask sets. And if you spent a lot of money on the hobby, you ought to see what Matt spent just on photo etch and mask sets.
Yes.
Yes. And they're all for aircraft that I don't really build anymore.
Yes.
So I'm having a call again. So I think, some of it will be going up for sale. I'll tell you what I have got. That I've had. Oh God, I don't know why I bought it or when I bought it. Is a 1/32 Revell Hankel HE111 big head set.
Okay.
Probably when filled it is.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but you can't get the kit. Got no intention of building one, and so I think that might be definitely going. But yeah, there's lots of mask sets and little zoom sets and stuff. I was laying butchers through yesterday, so I'm going to sort them out. And
I thought I got quite a lot of photos.
And what did I find? That resin thing I showed you earlier, Phil?
Oh, that was it's a air combat manoeuvring pod for an F-16.
I don't know what. Oh, it's here. This look. Can you see this?
It's like okay.
That.
Is that what goes on the end of the wing?
No. It goes underneath the fuselage, but it has two like prongs that come out the front. Originally, I thought it was a pave penny sight, but it's a bit too thin for that. I think so. I think it's an ALQ pod for an F-16. Something else like that. It's one of these ones that's a sort of jammer pod, but also it sends all the data.
I don't know. Anyway, it's in with a load of other bits
random stuff.
Yeah, it's proper random. So must have been a Fleabay purchase, and a load of stuff came with that. But I dread to think if the amount of money's worth is in this room. It'd be yes. Scary.
I need to, as I say, in here have another cull. When you auction.
To be honest with you, we might have an unboxing in a bit because Leslie went to get me a parcel from the post office yesterday.
Oh.
So I might open that.
He's been buying off eBay again, everyone.
Oh God, I need to stay off it. Really do.
Owns a model shop and buys off eBay.
It's just, I know.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it?
It is. Oh, you can hear myself talking then.
Sorry. So, from my point of view, just show you where we are on here. What I'm trying to work out is, on here, we've got the gear, and there's no option for this for gear up. So I'm just trying to work out how the gear actually works in a sort of simplified version. So what I've ended up doing is we've taken this, which I do believe sort of goes like this when it folds up, and then we're going to pop this in here. But it's how this interacts, this bottom plate. Obviously, it acts as somewhat of a water door. along the side here. But how that works and lines up, I have no idea. So we are somewhat just sort of poking this in and a bit of hope and praying in here. But I do think it sort of comes in something like that and then covers it from the photos that I can see, reference photos. But I don't know if it goes flush to the outside or how it goes, because it's actually a triangle looking door that somehow fits up into a rectangle shape. So I can't, because when you look at the picture of the real thing, it looks like it's flush. This door, this area at the bottom is closed over, but it's a triangle that goes up into it. So I can't understand how they've actually done it. So I'd say I've got a couple in here, but roughly, I think this is how it's going to sort of go. It's going to come in here and it's just going to fit up on the inside, if you guys can see that, in here somewhere. But yeah, the thing is, when you look at photos, this looks like it's a blank in here, but it's made up of the outside of this bit, which technically is the floor bit that comes down when it's doing its gear bit, but I don't know. It's quite a complicated sort of gear as it all folds up and goes in there. So so yes, that's the bit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to paint this aluminium in black, and I think we'll hand paint into the inside of these, getting these up and in here just like that. All right, so we'll do that in a sec. What I was going to show you though is the old Posca pens. Everyone speaks of those, or Posca, depending where you are. So this is these. They are acrylic. They're great. So they've got a fine nib on this one. They do two types of nib. You can get this one. They're both 1 mil, I think, if I remember rightly. Did it say on here? Yeah. Oh, it's 0.7 millimeters nibs on these. All right, go a bit closer. There you go, like that. And they're acrylic, and they'll go over anything. They're like if you imagine a Sharpie, but these are acrylic, so it's quite good. And what you can do is, we'll give it a good old shake. You can pop around and do doors. Let me just get your reference photos in case I colour in the wrong bit. So it's just the top one on this one. So they're great. So down in here, we need to do around this door. So what we can do is we start in the hinge. Oh God, that's it. We've just gone off already. We'll wipe that off and get rid of that. And because it's water-based, we can...
You had a bit of flood in.
Bit of flood in there. No, I slipped off. So what we can do is we'll just start at the back here and we'll come up. And we can go around. No, you guys can't even see that. And then we come down. There's a hinge just there, and then so if you do go wrong like that, it's gone completely wrong, you can just grab a cotton bud, and before it dries, or even after it's dried, because it's water based, you can just wipe it away. And that's what I quite like about these, is because they're water based, you can literally just wipe them away and you can sort of go again. But yeah, I was hoping we could follow the groove, which we can.
Put your wing out the way.
Sorry. Like this. So the idea is you go like that.
Yeah.
And you can pop around and you can do all the doors and things.
Can't see it.
Sorry. Again, it's a bit tricky because I'm trying to look at it and you guys as well.
That's a good kit, that Jim, innit? He's doing the 223. I'm doing the 222. I was actually going to build the 223. I did think about it. I wanted to do a DAC one, but I chose this instead. But I bought myself a book at a Darlington show a few weeks ago, because that's my plan. Like I've said, to get some more reference and stuff. So I'm just having a look at why these.
There we go. That's those on.
There we go. Look.
Good old acrylic Posca pens are brilliant for this.
They are good, aren't they?
They are very, very handy for just putting in. As I said, I know somebody mentioned about doing proper colours and stuff like that with them. And I know what he means, because you can buy, like a cable will allow me to reach over, you can buy these. And again, these are the old Molotov ones. And you've got the pens, and you can put different size nibs, and you can put anything you like into these. Like this is a massive one. And I have got, they're over the other side, 2 of these loaded up with micro sole. So, you know, for putting on decals and stuff, which is dead handy because it's inside this. So it's always dispensing, which are quite nice. And obviously I've got, these are the, you can get finer tip ones and you can just replace the tips if you wanted to. So if you wanted to do it, but with these, what you can do is you can put acrylic paint into this. This is a 1 mil. And if you wanted to do a pattern, we're talking about squiggly camos and stuff like that. you can just pop along with these, and you can load them up with anything you like. There's obviously an acrylic form because you want it to be wet. But what you can do is we've got down in here, we've got nibs, different sizes and various things. As I say, I've got the other ones loaded up. But also they do ones which are Molotov marker ones. So this is a 2mm bullet head. I think these are all, which size are all these ones? These are all 2mm, I think, these ones. Yeah. But yeah, they're actually quite handy for doing drawing type work and stuff like that. There you go. It's a 4mm, but that's a flat version. If you wanted a flat brush.
I'll tell you what they're good for. Is putting paint retarder in.
Yeah.
Acrylic paint retarder.
Yeah.
What are yours?
No, these are Molotov ones.
What, that clear thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're made by
There's a name for
Molotov.
them, isn't there? An actual name for the brushes, aren't they? Like them.
Oh yeah, these are called aqua squeeze pens.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so you can just literally squeeze them out, so to speak. So, but yeah, they come in little sets. So this one here, you get a 1mm pointy one, and then you get a 4mm flat one, and a 3mm pointy one as well. Again, you can put obviously acrylic colours through these, and you can wash them out afterwards and everything like that. So they're quite handy. So again, I know people talking about, obviously, wouldn't it be great if you could put military colours? Well, you sort of can. You can make up your own paint, acrylic, and then pop them into these, and then just go for it like that. So, yes. So, right, we'll just let that dry, and then what we're going to do, we're going to pop over, and we're going to go through. Another little thing as well, just to show you on here, before I came on air, this decal at the back hadn't gone down at all, because obviously it's got like a vortex generator onto it. So I did the old trick of putting one pass, and that's all, of extra thin glue onto it to melt it in, and now it's proper melted in. But it has melted a bit too well in the middle, but we'll put that down to a bit of wear and tear. All right. But we did it on this side as well to get the rivet detail to pop through. So we just literally popped over it and it's fine. It's gone through. So, yes, doing all right.
Cool.
Cool. Just popped to Matt with his book.
I'm just looking at something that's actually on the destructions, but I can't see them ever used on the actual real vehicle. On the front mudguards or fenders, for our American friends. Right, here we go. Here's a good example. Am I on full screen?
Yeah.
So we've got this one here, which is, I might actually base my weathering and stuff because I quite like that photograph, to be honest. And on this front fender here, obviously got the width indicator marker things. And on the Tamiya instructions, I don't know what these are. I don't even know what they're supposed to be. Let me show you. Hold on. You see that part there, A5?
Yes.
I think it's like an indicator. I presume it's one of them flicker indicators. What they call semaphore? Is it a semaphore?
Right. Well, you've got a little flag that pops out.
Also, well, yeah, or a piece of what would have been there plastic. What's it called?
Bakelite.
Bakelite, I think. But obviously, none of the actual ones had them on.
Oh, right. Well, the indication wasn't really a strong point with tanks.
Well, this is, yes. Obviously, they've based this off a perhaps a prototype or a museum one. I don't know. But not one photograph I've got in here of any of them have actually got these on them. So I'm going to leave them off because I don't think it needs them.
Sure, it's not an IDE detonating device thing.
No, it definitely looks like it should be an indicator.
Did they have them in World War II?
I don't know.
There's a lot of broken ones. Some good photographs in here. Yeah. So right, that's sort of that little problem out.
Yes, thank you for the picture. Peter's put another picture of a CL. That's a different version, but the gear should be the same, I would have thought. And it shows it. It looks like it's just a flat panel on here on the underside. It's just completely flush with a wheel above it. So I don't know.
Right, Jim's got a question. Can retarder be used on any brand of paint, or is it best to use it only the paints of the manufacturer? Of course, if it's an acrylic retarder, it'll work with any acrylic paint. And a lacquer retarder will work with lacquer paint and enamel retarder if there is such a thing. But yeah, this is the AK one. Look, with the nice tortoise on it, and you can use this with any acrylic paints. This will use with the AK, the Tacker, Vallejo, whatever, any of them. Again, Winsor & Newton do one. They're all an acrylic retarder, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. There's not going to be any issues with mixing them together.
I'd still try it before you spray it on you.
I have, and it worked.
I know. I mean, if he's mixing anything that yourself.
David says a question: can we give some terrible advice on the best way to sand very small parts like leg struts, please? Carefully. So, yeah, I know what you mean. Is you get very small, thin pieces like piping and stuff like that. You end up sanding them and they snap because by their nature, it's usually very weak plastic and they do it. There is a couple of tricks you can do. One is to put it down on something. So sometimes what I will do is you get a little bit of blue tack or white tack or any tacky type stuff, right? The bit that's got the sprue attachment point, obviously upwards, and then stick it into a little bit of tack, because then that way it will cushion it and holds it flat. Then you can sand over it. The biggest thing is use a very fine sander. Don't go in with anything too much grit, because otherwise it will grip it and it will snap it. So you want obviously a fine sander and go over it. So for instance, recently I've been working on this little lump, as a lot of you have seen, me wee little caterpillar here. And to be honest, all of the tiny bits on this, be it these bits all around it, these small bits have all needed to be cleaned up. So obviously on these and stuff, and as you might imagine, there's like grab handles and all those different things all over this. So again, what I tended to do is just pop it down into a little bit of tack and then sand them as well. But normally it sounds silly, but very carefully isn't actually a bad idea, because again, what you're going to be doing is just very lightly working it and go through. Frustrating when you've got hundreds like that thing's got, because it does take a little bit of time. But if you have got a part, then literally stick it onto a bit of tack, then sand it. Even if you end up sanding the tack, it won't matter. And then that way you can just go through and take it down very, very slowly, but fine, and go for it. The other thing as well is that if you use a sponge with a soft core to it, it will lightly wrap around the pipe as well and take it off. But I've been doing it on that. And to be honest with you, I snapped 2 of them. So, I am missing a grab rail because I snapped it and a bit of it's pinged off and I never saw it again. So I will be looking around on the floor for that. But even if I found it, chances are we won't. So we're going to end up, and Matt will have to make me, using his new toy, a new grab.
Yeah, somebody was asking about that, weren't there?
Yes, there was a question about on it. There was a
question, weren't they, about excuse me, my grab handle tool, which is this one I bought off Etsy when I was with you. Sorry,
yes.
Camera, that one.
Yeah.
Which I've not tried yet, I'll be perfectly honest. But I have also got that we sell in the shop, and I have used these, is the
the trumpeter ones.
So yeah, the trumpeter ones. And again, I think on one of our shows we'll get some wire out and do a bit of demoing, I think. Because this is quite cheap, and it's just literally open them up, put your wire in, clamp it down and bend it. And then there's all different sizes ones, I think. Different size wires, anyway.
I can't find it in our shop. Where is it?
They're in the Master Tools section.
Oh, is it?
And then it does obviously say on them, look, 0.4, 0.3. That's a 0.4, 0.3. So there's numbers on them. I've not really read the instructions. Perhaps that would have been a good idea. I think there's 2 of each. That's it. Look, 2.
There we go. So that's the idea. You put your wire across it, look, and then push down, and then obviously it gives you a perfect grab handle. You just cut the sides then, and away you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I presume they're yes. I'm just looking at numbers. That's all. Obviously got 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. So you get 6 sizes.
Yeah. And you go from there. And then obviously this one here that I got off Etsy is by, I can't think of the thing. I'll find.
So I'm just saying, on that grab one you got there, is one of them like a U shape, and the other's more of a curved in them? Because it says you get 6 sizes, but obviously it looks like 3 and 3.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Is it like a more of a scoop one handle, a roundy handle, rather than being a 90-degree one? Is it the difference?
It's that's right. Which one have I got here? So this is the 0.4 number 3.
Right.
So if you can see the
yeah.
grooves.
Mm-hmm.
That's that one.
Mm.
Let me just have a look at the number 3 because I actually don't know the difference. I don't know to be perfect ones. Right, the 4. That's the 4 number 3.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I honestly don't know because obviously the packaging's long gone, which means the destructions have gone with it.
Mm.
So I don't honestly know what's what. If I'm honest, I could do with actually looking at a box and finding out, or at least looking at a tutorial on them.
Yeah.
Well, they do. I have used them a while ago, and they do work. But obviously, these ones here just go up in. I think this is, anybody who's a dab hand at 3D printing could 3D print a resin one of these, I reckon.
Yeah.
This is just an acrylic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously it goes up the incisors with the grooves and stuff. So I don't think it's very expensive. I just, like I say, got it from Etsy. So this is quite an expensive grab handle tool at one point. Somebody did, didn't they?
Mm.
Oh, I'll tell you what I did. I was using this little thingy, you Phil. Them things.
Oh right, yeah.
These.
Yes.
These. Yeah. 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 It did work.
What is it, man?
It's them glass files.
It's a glass file.
Okay, you can't even see the file on that.
It's really, really fine.
Mm.
And it did work. It's just I'm not overly convinced with it. I'll be perfectly honest.
They're not designed for styrene plastic. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, when I had them offered up to me, the company we use, they do them as well, and they offered them to me, and they sent me a couple down to have a play with, and it didn't work. Not with styrene. I can understand them obviously using it for like nail files and stuff like that, but at the time it was like, no, that's not going to work for me.
No. Just for anybody who don't know, a good little trick. You know, when you've got sort of kit exhausts, normally they're solid.
Mm-hmm.
So nice, just a quick, trick to do is just put a bit of an old drill them out. Take a fine drill bit and then just go up the grades and just, update them a little bit. It's a nice cheap way of just making your exhaust look a bit more like an exhaust system.
I'm going to say it's one of those things when you notice it's got a hole in it and it's a proper exhaust, it looks a lot better.
Yes.
It's one of those noticeable points.
Yeah. So.
Richard said, Andy, the Spitfires would only be down on landing, not when on the ground. Otherwise, it would cost the pilots a round of drinks, I should think.
The what? Sorry.
The Spitfire only had the flaps down when it was landing. As soon as you land, you put them up anyway, don't you? So
it looks more dynamic when they're up. When they're down, sorry.
Yes.
All right. Can I just get this one, Phil, for you?
Yeah.
Flick off. A question: what's your go-to gloss lacquer for pre-weathering? I presume that's a gloss coat before decking.
Yeah, sealer coats, I assume.
Sealer coat. Yeah. Well, I use acrylic, so I'm not the man to ask anymore. Phil, over to you.
Again, if you're looking for a gloss, say you're doing something that you want to be really nice, I do like the Hitaka stuff. Gloss coat, they're satin and matte. If you just want to go for a pure lacquer, it's really thin. It goes on like glass. It's very, very nice indeed. GX100, we often speak about as well. It's a really nice one. You have to thin it a hell of a lot because it's really, really thick, but you do get your money's worth from it. And then obviously Tamiya's LP ones, they're really nice. They smell, but they're very, very nice indeed. So
I like the AK glosses and satins are not right as well.
Yeah, I haven't tried those ones. Yeah, I haven't tried the real colour ones yet. I must admit, that's the one thing I haven't had a go at yet, to try theirs. But I've heard good things about them all, though.
And my go-to for a gloss is GX100 for a satin. For weathering, I still don't mind XF86.
I think that's a good.
I know it's a flat coat, but it's more satin, isn't it, than a flat coat?
Yeah, I think that's a good satin coat.
Yeah, because obviously for weathering, you don't want it gloss, but you don't want it matte, do you? It needs to be like a satin coat.
Yes. Is there any way I could get some missing parts for a Hobby Boss kit that I got from the PM store? I got the Hobby Boss Coyote TSV, but the kit is missing some of the fuel cans and water cans.
Really?
Unusual. Hobby Boss are not known for ever having missing parts, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I can tell you the importer is, if you want to try them, it's Creative Models.
Yeah. If you speak to Creative, shoot them an email and say it's got missing parts.
Yeah.
Then they'll probably send you them out because they're the importer for Hobby Boss. So
yeah.
So Creative Models is your stop there. It'd be the quickest and easiest way as well.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Right. The other question we've got is: do any of you guys know any stockists in the UK for the King Art brushes? Well, they're the ones I'm being sent over from Chris off our chat. Somebody did send me a link to a company in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of, but they're out of stock of some of them. They've got some in. I did do a bit of Googling. Probably best to go direct, to be honest. It was just obviously I asked on our chat, and Chris K. Goodby's bought some for himself, and then he's just going to send he has done. They're in the post now, so hopefully might get them this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another quick one here. Good morning, all. Will you guys be reviewing Airfix's new 72nd scale F35B Lightning 2?
Do you know what?
Can you send me one, Matt?
But they're sold out.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll tell you what we can do. I'll tell you what we'll do. I will get one in, and I will get the designer on from Airfix as well, because Pranjit did it. It's his. So I'll have a word with Pranjit this week, see if we can get something together.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Pranjit on, and he can tell us all about it because he's released it now, so we can talk about it. So that's good.
Yeah,
we can get the thumb screws and find out and all the rest of it. But it's Pranjit's kit. So I will have a word with him. I'll shoot him a message later on today, see if he's up for it. Make sure he gets a green light from Airfix, and we'll get him on. We've done that one. Guys are obviously mentioning about doing small parts on that, about sharp scrape cleaning and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. That will work as well. Lacquer gloss we've done. Good mornings, guys talking. Question: do you guys know any stockists? Oh yeah, sorry, you've just done that one, Matt.
I've done the one with the King Art brushes, yeah.
Jim says that Attacker lacquers, paints and clears are excellent. I've never had a problem with them either. No, I like them. They go down really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim's saying about the moment, he's got like 10 different types of paint brands and everything. I think we're all like that.
I've had a cull. I've been good. I'm trying to just cull,
How do I know that I put the right amount of gloss varnish? Thanks. Again, it's one of those things when you're glossing. There's loads of videos I've done on it, on this, but you just want it to be a nice wet look when you finish. So when it dries like this guy did, it's got it. And some things are really straightforward. So if, like aqua, for instance, so if you're an acrylic user, the great thing about it, you spray it on. It's very much like the old-fashioned Future, and it just goes on. It's very thin. It does the trick, and it covered this beautifully. I was really, really surprised how well this came out of one coat. I thought this was going to take a good few coats in the way we go, but it didn't. It worked first time, no problem at all. But again, it's one of those, when you're using things like lacquers and stuff like that, listening to your airbrush, I know we go on about this, but it's one of those things. If it sounds like it's just flowing, no problem at all. If you hear resistance in it, you need to thin it a little bit more. So if you're using something like a GX100, which is really, really thick, and I imagine the AK Real Colors will be the same as well. They're very, very thick paints. So you're going to thin them probably 70, maybe 80% for a gloss coat. Because when you're spraying it, if you can see it dry, it looks like it's going down dry, then you're either too far away or it's too thick. So that's the thing. If you're spraying gloss, you want to be nice and close, and obviously it's got to look really wet. So first, dusty coat from a bit of a distance, putting that down, no problem at all. But as soon as you're into this thing, right, okay, it's had 2 coats perhaps, Coming in with a third, you'll see me do it. Air pressure goes right down to hardly anything. You're nice and close, just a couple of inches or like 5-10 centimeters away from your model, and you're putting down a nice, gentle, thick coat. So that way, what's happening is when the gloss hits the surface, it's not just sticking and drying, it's sitting there for a moment or two, it's melting into itself, and that way you'll get a nice glass finish right the way through. And that way you shouldn't have any problems. Obviously, even if you're into tricky areas where you get like 90 degrees, wing roots, stuff like that on aircraft, traditionally really, really bad for getting that. You get what we call a vortex effect. So the air hits it and then it rolls around a bit. So it's drying as it's doing this. And then that way you get a real sandpaper type texture if it's quite wet. So when you come in, it's a nice wet coat, positive as I call it. So you go right in there, nice big wet coat, then do the areas each side of it. You know, but it is this thing. If I'm working like this model, I will spray into itself. So obviously, if we're coming along from here, 45 degrees down onto it, starting past the wing, spraying, and then we're just working our way back. So the overspray is hitting the model, but it's because it's wet, it melts into it. And away you go. You just come across, and then once you've done, you just let it go and let it dry. It's a little bit easier with lacquers because lacquers tend to be a bit more grippy and they'll sit there. Obviously, if you're using an acrylic and it's quite thin and it's wet, you have the run of it running. But like I did with this, just pop along with a brush afterwards whilst it's still sat there, and you can just take off the excess and you should be good with it. But again, a lot of it is confidence. When you're pressing gloss is to get properly into it and literally say, right, we're going to go with a nice gloss coat, and having a little bit of belief into it that it's not going to flood and be dripping off your model at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a bit of
must be hard. You need to get back into doing some acrylics and then strip it all back off again and respray it with lacquers.
Adam says, do you guys reckon aftermarket will be available for the Zvezda Mi8 and the AMK Mi17 for the hips?
There's loads of aftermarket available for the Zvezda one. If you Google on Anant, loads of stuff's coming out for that. Quince has done the cockpit sets and all the interior. I think you can get different. I think Edard's done some stuff now as well. Edard's got some gear out for that. I don't know if there's anything out for the AMK one yet.
He was actually saying, would it fit the Mi17?
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry. Would it go? I don't. It depends what you're talking about. If you're into an instrument panel, technically it should be the same in both kits. But I've said this before. I've had Hasegawa like F4s and tried to get a Academy, say, or a Tamiya F4 cockpit into it, and it isn't going to go because the thicknesses of the plastic means the cockpits are narrow and stuff like that in some of the older kits. Modern kits, you'd think they'd all be the same.
I'd probably say no, they won't fit.
I would say you're probably better off waiting for it. Let's face it, if a manufacturer's released aftermarket for the Zvezda one, you're going to go through. Also, don't forget, there is some subtle differences between an 8 and a 17. So, you know, that's the other thing as well. If you're thinking about colour, instrument panels and stuff like that, especially, obviously that's the thing. They may be different as well because Russian ones tend to be sort of in that sort of greeny colour for export ones as well. So you tend to get the blue more for the Mi8s. You'll get the green interiors for the Mi17s. So, yes. Krista says, Matt, have you tried using a syringe to make a small hole? Very precise and easy to use.
Do you know what?
That sounds dangerous.
I've got no syringes here. What I was using, actually, to be honest with you, was old airbrush needles. They're sharp as oak, because I know, because I've stabbed a few times in my fingers, just to make a pilot hole. But to be honest, I've got these little drill bits here. They're razor sharp. I'm all right. But yeah, no, I've seen people with syringes. It's, a bit, ordering a load of syringes is...
I've got plenty you can have.
Oh, yeah, you've got loads of syringes, haven't you? Got different sizes?
No.
There was a quick question there. I'm just trying to find out where it is. We've done that one. Okay, Matt, this is from Richard in YouTube land. He says, these are the turning signals called the winker in Germany, early 222s. Had them on the superstructure side. Later ones were on the fenders, on the front fenders.
All right, well, this one's definitely at the front, or they should be. But like I say, that book that I've got my reference book, none of them's got it, so I'm leaving mine off.
Oh, right.
They must have obviously removed them or didn't bother with them in the end, because like I say, why would they probably need them? You know, bombing around the Eastern Front probably didn't need many, but all the desert. But want much called for indicators.
Matt, does the AK extra thin come with a small brush, or did you replace it with your Tamiya one?
No, that's how it comes. It actually does come with a smaller brush than the. I got Tamiya. Oh, yeah, actually, because I decanted some VMS Slow. Can you see my?
Yeah.
My super duper label that I put on.
Nice.
I weren't thinking. Don't ask. I weren't thinking, but that's a Tamiya brush. They're not a lot of difference, to be honest.
We're going to sell those labels.
Yes.
What, in Matt's handwriting?
With my dodgy handwriting, but yeah, don't ask why I did it like that. But anyway, I quite like this glue, to be honest. I've got that, and I've got quite back into Mr. Cement S.
Yes.
But wow, this stuff is so fast. I can't see how they can do the quick version of this.
Yeah.
Because this is like rapid fast. So, but most of this was put together with Mr. Cement S because it does grip. It's got really good grip on it. So, and I actually I quite like this bigger, cap, if you want to call it that. My brain's not in function today. Can you tell? I'm just like, I'm having a delay from brain to mouth, I think, today. Just going back, like the VMS stuff that we sell, I've had to decant it because it comes in a glass jar, bottle, if you want to call it, but there's no brush with it.
I bet they probably expect you to use a.
I think they just use an empty like extra thin or anybody else's. So that's suppose why they're not bothered. But yeah, so this is the slow stuff, and then they did the normal stuff. So they're just like refills. I take it. Yeah, seems all right. It's got a long drying time. That slow stuff has really long. So if you've got bigger joints and stuff, it's ideal. So,
just have a look for some.
Oh, we have a question. If I'm gluing the mesh onto the upper part of the tank, do I have to put the glue all over the part? I would actually put it on the tank. I think. I presume you like panther meshing and tigers and things like that. Is that what we're on about, that sort of meshing? Again, if you use this stuff, I'm flogging today, look. I've been using this for my photo etch, the VMS Slow for PE. And again, it's got a bit of drying time before it actually sets, so you can manoeuvre it about. Don't grip it. It's nice. They do a slow one as well, don't they, Gander?
Yes, they do, yeah.
Which is that one, which is a VMS Slow again. So it's got a nice bit of lead time before it actually goes off on you. I would use that. That PE one's got a bit of flex to it, so your parts don't really ping off. Hence why all the stuff like my mud flats here are still on it. Normally they've gone into the oblivion by now. It has got a bit of give, which is always good with photo etch.
Nice.
So, what's Phil on with now?
Me, I'm just going to make up if I can see my own marks, which clearly I can't. But yeah, I'm just going to make up. God, I'm terrible at this. Let me try this way. I'm just going to make up some new doors, and I think we're just going to make our own for it.
Right.
So that way, we can fill in those bits on the underside. I think will be a bit easier. So we're just going to cut down in that. My light in here is terrible. Something like that. Breaky, breaky. Achy, breaky heart. And then hopefully. Look, I'm amazed myself sometimes when it actually works, because clearly it never usually does. But there we go. I've just done myself some plastic card and we're just seeing if it'll fit. Look at that, first time. So, quick tip. I don't know if you actually saw that. I'll show you again. So all you do, if you want to get a cut on plastic card, I've measured the distance, and then if you put the top blade on here and the bottom one onto here, and then scribe across, like so, you just come across like that, and then you can just ping this stuff, hopefully. Should do 2 passes, but hey, we'll be clever on this one, try and do it in 1. Actually need 2, sorry, hold on, back again.
That one actually could just answer a thing while you're sorting that, because Peter's asked a question of any of them CA's glue good for not triggering glue sniffer's allergy like I have? Question mark. Most super glues have a smell, but actually the slow one has not much of one whatsoever, to be honest. So no, in fact, it's got hardly any odour. The slow, the PE one has. That one's got a bit of a super glue smell to it, if you want to call it that.
So yes,
you definitely don't want glue sniffer's allergy.
No,
don't sound very good, does it?
I didn't know that was a thing, but hey, if it is,
yeah. What symptoms do you get? That's what I want to know.
A fuzzy head and
blisters under your nose, is it? And around your mouth.
Yeah, you look like an extra from Train Spotting.
Yeah. You can't hear my music, your lot, can you?
No, unfortunately we can't. Or fortunately, we're not sure
no,
which is which.
Unfortunately, you can't hear my super duper lo-fi chilled music. It's nice. It's a model.
Oh, hi.
That's what Phil's going to get for our streams.
Right, so.
Hay fever. Oh, you got hay fever. Oh, dear. Oops. Not good. Not good having hay fever symptoms. So is this just super glues then, or drunkenness? Nice. Well, not nice really, if you don't want to be. Not the symptoms.
Right, let's just fudge it for 2 of those for a minute. Move them out of the way. So what we're looking at is going to stick 1 in here on this side. Probably a little bit too tall on that side.
Oh, so which company is that then? Is that the original citrus glue or the other company that was selling it?
Or the Tammy one, or
yeah, didn't AK do one as well? I thought AK did a citrus glue as well. Was that citrus glue? Wasn't it for schools or something, Phil, you said?
Yeah, it was a home thing in Japan. So the schools that fulfilled the school requirement.
I don't quite understand. You make something poisonous smell like oranges.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some law or something in
Stop
Japan.
the kids. Yeah,
it's a bit weird.
Yeah, we make poisonous stuff smell like
flowers. Normally, it's floral, isn't it?
So I've got another question then to follow up for his super glue allergy. How do you actually go get round this? If you actually need to use a super glue, or do you just avoid stuff in general?
Probably avoid stuff. You're like, yeah, okay. Right.
Oh yes, full respirator to avoid problems. Oh, fair enough. I think you probably should anyway, because it's not good for you, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, don't want to be breathing it in.
No, it's not great, is it? Not good. Right, where are we with this?
Right, okay. Plastic carding. Where's my super duper tool thing?
How's the Spitfire going, Andrew?
All right, I'm just cleaning up my airbrush. I'm just painting the front of my wheel wells silver, like it says on the instructions, even though I don't know why. Basically, the interior with flat silver.
Yes, his foot's back on. Now his head's fell off. Do you know what? His foot was on. Now I've just dropped him. His foot's back off again. That was good timing, wasn't it? I'm not doing that again. Super glue will be out. Carry on, Andrew. Sorry.
Yeah. Then I forgot to paint the underside of the cockpit bit, which you can't see anyway, even when the cockpit's in. So, quite know why I've done it. I don't know, but I've done it.
Yeah, look, I've just knocked it off. Look, I've just literally dropped him.
Even with a strong torch, you can't see down there through the cockpit. Hey ho.
Oh yeah, right. Again. I'm going to pin it. I'm going to pin this bloody foot on, I think.
Right, let's do a bit of a laminating job under here.
Become a bit of a weak point. Are you on full screen showing us what you're doing?
No, we're watching Andy at the moment.
Oh, is Andy
watching me cleaning my airbrush off camera.
Right, let me come back over to you. There we go. We can see you reattaching him for the third time.
Oh, God, I know. The magnet glue's out. See what happens this time. Perhaps I should use some of that flexi stuff.
Yeah.
Just leaving it till the end.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we're on. We're glued. Let's put him to one side out the way. Anybody else who's after super glue? The old magnet from AK is a good glue as well. And it lasts forever and ever.
Yeah, it does.
It's not one of them that kind of goes off, which is nice.
Right, we just laminated those two together. And then what we'll do is we'll tidy those up and get those installed in, because obviously it needs to be a bit thicker, I feel. So I think we might need to put in some little bit more just for the bottom section.
Yeah, that glue's proper strong stuff.
What's that?
It was done about super glues and Peter's allergy to it, but Zap glue is proper.
Oh yeah,
proper potent stuff. That is. Yeah.
Okay, so let me gear will attach to that. It'll be fine. What could go wrong?
You saw Christopher on a 30-second fighter from Tamiya, I think, on our chat.
Oh, they are nice.
What?
He says he think he needs to get a big 30-second fighter from Tamiya.
I'll tell you what, they're really, really, really nice.
Quick question to you all. Do any of you use super glue? And if so, at what point? Well, yeah,
I use it all the time.
Foot back on his leg.
Yes. I use it twofold. Two areas I use super glue. Obviously, small photo etch, stuff like that. Super glue every single time. And I must admit, I do love the magnet stuff because it just lasts forever. And then secondly, for tacking. So if I've got a bit on a model and I need to just hold it temporarily in place, not to glue it all up, just to get it in there, or I've got something that's lifted up a little bit and it needs pushing down and to hold it temporarily, then I will tack it. So it's a bit like tack welding with super glue to get it together. Then I'll weld it up with proper glue afterwards. So it might be, if it's a big thing, it might be something like a contactia glue, something like that. But if it, then otherwise it may be just going there with an extra thin afterwards. So literally the super glue just holds it into position. But sometimes you get that thing and it's just got a little bit raised up or something. You can get it in there, hold it into its position, no problem at all. And then it gives time for the glue to actually do its proper job of holding it all in place. And Matt's got something we can't get anymore.
I have, but I use this super glue as a filler.
Yeah.
I mean, we are now stocking, obviously, the VMS black glue, so it should be the same principle of what it would do with a dye in it.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really, really good filler. I really do rate it as a filler, this Black Widow stuff.
Has the Black Widow one not got a some sort of rubber in it or something to make it flexible.
Yeah, it's supposed to be flexible, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Which is the same as the VMS stuff.
Yeah,
I must admit, I didn't get on well with it as a filler, but then I never used it on big jobs. I only used it for little jobs, and I just found it was a little bit harder than normal. If anyone knows me, you'll know that actually now I do all my filling with talc, CA glue, and talc. I just quick and instant and zero shrinkage.
It's got to be the right talc, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, because you don't want the new stuff because it's not proper talc. That's the trouble.
You know.
That's because it's not available in like California. Because like water, it's bad for you.
Don't breathe.
Yeah.
I just find it easier to work with, to be honest. It's got like a little bit of give, but filling, like saying, it don't sink.
Yeah.
So that was the thing with brand, and plus obviously it's got the black dye in it. You can see what you're doing. It's not on the clear stuff, you know.
I used it on the turret of my T62 I was doing. It got all the ERA armour and stuff on it, and I wasn't using that. So I just used the Black Widow on that, and it filled it perfectly.
Is that finished yet? Is that finished yet?
No.
Question for... All right, we've got a question here from Nigel. Question for everyone about glue. What do you use for canopies and clear pots? I'm trying out the VMA stuff I bought for a pair. A bit stringy, but does the job. I think he means VMS.
Yeah.
Not tried their clear stuff. Thingy do one, don't they? Contact to clear, is it, Revel? But most people just use this stuff, innit? You got one there, Phil, that you're going to use.
Yeah.
Mine's in the drawer, and it's going to knock my camera up.
Where is it? Hold on. It's moved. Hold on. I've got the cable stuck. What have I done with it? I've had a clear up.
Crystal clear, that's the stuff.
Crystal clear, yeah. Where is my crystal clear? I've lost my crystal clear, which is going to come in handy in a minute. I was going to show it.
Yeah, loads of people use crystal clear.
Crystal clear?
I have got trouble with my crystal clear, though. I've got one and it's really gritty where it's frozen in transport somewhere. There it is.
He said that, didn't he? Yeah, it's weird.
Do you know something? Just Adam, while you're finding Adam's got a question. Is the Trumpy MI4 Hound 148 available in the UK? If so, anybody know how many of my hard-earned pounds it is? Well, I got out of that of Germany months ago.
I did a review on it.
You've done a review, and I've actually still got it in the back of my car. And I've not seen anybody stocking it yet over here.
Yeah.
Which is really bizarre, because it's a good kit, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, it's got really, really nice detail on it. Finer than, I think it's, you know, as you say, than other ones out there.
Yeah. But yeah, nobody
that's when you know your car's too big, when you can just leave junk in the back through to the car.
I just like ferrying it around.
It likes a trip out.
But yes, I've not seen any in the UK. I'm just going to Google something and have a look. Because there's loads of like aftermarket out for it now. Oh, it's starting to come through anyway. From Edard. Edard do mass set and everything. Oh no, it still says future release on here. Because they're doing a MI4, which is the one you reviewed, an MI4A and an MI4V.
All right.
And the price is, I can tell you how much it's going to be. It's going to be $64.99 is the full retail price on it. So, but there's a big headset and all sorts out for it. So, assets and Quinta doing some stuff for it. Yeah. Yes. Hopefully we'll get it soon.
Yeah, I thought it was a really nice kit, to be honest. It's better than their other ones, shall we say. There's a lot more detail on it.
So, why is Cartograph Decals so good as it's advertised? They're just good.
Because they are one of the leading companies in the world that make decals, and they're very good at it, yeah.
They've got it down, haven't they? Got it down to a fine art of printing decals.
Yeah, they're a printing company as a whole. They do other things than decals. If you go on their website, they do loads of stuff, but they're very, very good at doing decals. And they do it for big manufacturers, just not like hobby stuff. They can do it for Ferrari and all these different companies as well.
Yeah.
Look, Gavin's up nice and early, 4 a.m. in Canada.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
What glue would you recommend fixing metal to metal joints, such as aircraft conversions, undercarriage parts, etc.? Again, you can get away with a good CA glue will do it for, you know, technically if it's a non-structural. When I say non-structural, I mean like, you know, you've got a lot of weight on it, for instance, and obviously gear does have sometimes, but it depends how the weight is going to be put through the item it's going up against. Because obviously CA glue is absolutely fine as long as it's not under any particular shock loading, because it will just shear and snap and all the rest of it. But if you're doing something where it's more structural, for instance, and you're hanging it off of it, then, you know, you might want to go with an epoxy. So you can get like a 3-minute epoxy glue. So it's 2-part, mix it up. That stuff is strong as hell. And you can do it that way. But for small jobs, just putting things on there, and like normally gear's fine and stuff like that, as long as it's going into something else. So if it's gear, normally there's a socket that photo etch one or the white metal part's going to go into, then it's not going to be a problem. You can just literally use CA glue because all the load is going to be through the joint, not through the glue. But again, if it's one of those where you are a little bit worried about it, then epoxy, like a 5-minute epoxy resin, you just knock up a little bit 2-part stuff and do it, and you know that'll go off and nothing's going to move it after that.
Yep, can't agree more with that.
Yeah, Gator grip acrylic used to be really, really big back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And again, I don't know what happened to it. I know they had loads of trouble with it coming over to the UK because it used to freeze in transit, and then it used to go gritty as hell. And to be honest, this one here, I have a cross on top of mine, this bottle here, because it's done that said thing. When you take this out, this is really, really gritty. And I've tried to get it back to life to activate it. I've squeezed all this out, put it into a jug and remixed it and everything, but it is still very, very gritty. And it's just one of those, I think they'd be in a PVA glue, they don't like freezing, because when it freezes, obviously the molecular structure changes somewhat when it unfreezes. But this one over here, which doesn't have the cross on the top, is absolutely fine, no problem at all. I'll show you about it in a minute. But yeah, it's one of those ones where, you know, I think Gator grip had a little bit of trouble with it freezing in transit. It got a little bit of a bad rep because it was quite good stuff. I used to use it all the time.
Good. Yeah, it was good stuff, Gator grip. I think I've still got a bottle somewhere. Don't know what state it's in, but...
Look, Christopher's on. Just got to mention Christopher. Hello from Germany. He's still in hospital with his broken femur.
Oh,
thanks for a great show. It helps. So, yes.
Get better soon.
Did you see your Blue Thunder review? So, yeah. But Chris sent me the Blue Thunder, which we'll be building. I might do that for the turkey shoot this year.
That'd be cool. You got the right colour for it?
Well, I don't know, but the colour that they've given it is definitely not what I would do it in. But yeah, it says moulded in authentic metallic blue. It's like, oh dear.
I always thought it was like a dark sea blue colour.
It is, I think. Yeah, it's definitely not the colour they've got.
Something around that, you know. I don't know. Long time since I've seen Blue Thunder.
Yes.
When are you going to be let out of hospital then, Christopher? Have they said?
Oh, it's raining here. I can hear rain. Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, we've got a bit of blue sky.
I was going to mow the lawn this afternoon. That's gone out the window now.
Yeah, you're thankful of that.
Yeah, Jim says he bought his Gator grip back in 2019. Still good. I think you can get it quite readily over in the US because that's where it's from, isn't it? It's a US company does it. But over here, as I say, I know it got a really bad rap in sort of the early 2000s because it went gritty as hell and everyone was complaining about it. Because I used to know a guy who used to sell it and he was always getting complaints about it. Oh, Christopher's back in surgery again on Tuesday.
Oh, God. Right.
To fix the first surgery. Oh, God. He's in there for another 2 weeks.
Jeez. It's not very efficient, is it, if you've got to have it done again? Well, get well soon and hope you get out of the hospital as well soon.
There was a question there about F14s for you, Matt. I think that is. Matt, I've got a list of questions. The VMSPA Cryo Glue, which one? There's several in the shop.
All of them. Don't be tight, buy the lot. You need
Buy the
them.
lot. Cryo Glue applicators. I wasn't sure what to go for. What do you reckon, applicator-wise?
What do you mean applicator-wise? What do you mean?
Spare needles from your airbrush, old ones are good.
I always use a spare. Look, this is my applicator. I've got a spare needle here.
Yeah. And
I've used an old pin vise, and I've got a spare needle.
Yeah.
Jammed in, cut down, and jammed into that. So. Yeah, and then you just burn it off with a flame, don't you, to clean it?
Yeah.
And
I use an old needle. Cut the end off it so that you've got basically a U shape on the end.
You get two little forks then that hold the glue, isn't it? Yeah.
And then shove it into a cocktail stick.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got one here. I don't know whether. Just like that. I've just put some tabby tape around it just to hold it together. It's obviously got a big blob of CA glue on it at the moment. You can't see because it's on the black on black, but. Yeah, so you just burn that off and you get back to your little fork that you had. There's got a few of them. Just use those instead.
Again, you can buy CA glue applicators. I used to have one once. It was a set of them, and they just it's not worth it. You might as well have something a little bit more disposable, shall we say? Say a bit of wire will do it. Anything you like.
Cocktail sticks work, but I've got into quite. I'd say the old airbrush needles work good, and like I say, some wire. Just make
Again, the one that I use a lot is these. So this is just the eyebrow applicator glue. You buy 1 million off of the internet for £1. They're called micro brushes, and they charge you like 10 quid for 5. But as you say, you just go on and get them. But anyway, the great thing about these is you can use them for super glue. But when they're done, if you pull the end off, you come up with a plastic pointy thing like a cocktail stick. And here's one that I've been using earlier. This has got super glue on it, and I use these. So again, and it's disposable at the end of the day, and they cost absolutely nothing. So, it's cheaper than a cocktail stick. And I just have one of these. And if you want a CA glue pot, we can sell these. This one's sponsored by, what is this? Born in the Rockies, a bit of Coors Light. And all I do is literally crimp down one side to make it a holder for it. So that way your brush lays in it like that, you see, and it doesn't get knocked off.
Yeah, you see what I use, look. a jam jar lid.
Yeah.
And just whack it out or whichever side you want it.
Phil.
Sorry?
Who was drinking Coors Light?
What are you lot that bring it down? It's not my tipple, so it must have been somebody who brought one. So.
Coors Light? Somebody was drinking Coors Light.
Yes.
Not me. I can't remember who it was. Right, I'm going to do a bit of detail painting on my Sherman for the last half an hour. I think. Not far off with the old little tank. Primary. You gave me it. Lost.
Look at that. That almost works. Look at that. It almost works. So look, it's the right thickness underneath and it's there. So all I've done literally, as you've probably been watching, or stupid, but I've just laminated some plastic art together. So hold on, I'll put it on me and then I'll switch over to Matt. So it's just laminated plastic art, and amazingly this actually fits, which again is definitely more luck than judgment. But you can see it'll go in like that. I need to sand it, but it's the right taper, it's the right angle, and then the wheel will then, I will chop off the other bit, will then sit on here, in up there. We'll take off this back bit because that's now irrelevant, and we'll just feed it into this. So this will get painted yellow, I do believe, and then obviously the bottom bit will go red, and then that will be our door done for it. So I've just made up 2 of them. We've got the other one. So we just laminated some plastic card and put it up and done it that way.
Very nice.
I'm amazed it worked.
So, is the copy of your SDK 222 the updated version? Yes, it is. It's a new one where you get the metal barrel and the photo etch grenade screen covers and some jerry cans and drums as well in it. So, yes, it's the updated. It's still based the same kit though. So,
ow!
Right. Oh! What was that noise?
That was my elbow.
Oops!
Man down.
Oh, oops! Medic. Right, proper visors on because I can't see. This is too tiny. Tiny. Oh dear. Bass ale. Are you using metal files for sanding plastic? Have you run out of Phil sanders? No, I've got tons of them. It's just they're in front of me. I'm saving Phil sanders. I use them sparingly. Not that you ain't got some. I've got a drawer full.
Personal use.
Personal use only. Is that what we said, officer?
Yeah, opposite for personal use.
Personal use only.
Okay, so yeah, look, David's down in Penzance with the pirates. Been raining most of the morning.
Is it raining down there?
Raining down there.
Apologise if my head's in the way.
So go on then, Matt, what are you up to?
I am just going to paint the rubber tyres in, using a bit of the good old Life Colour tyre black that I nicked off you. Remember that black set, was it?
God's fears you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a while,
that?
wasn't it? Yeah, you stole my entire Life Colour series.
Because you don't like them, so you never use them. So I'm just going to paint the rubber tyres in, get the tractor coat paint, and I'm going to have to paint these little bits I've stuck on here, like the cans, flimsies, and a jerry can, I think. But it's an ammo can, sorry. So,
you're fiddling through Phil's drawers.
He is going through my drawers again. Sniffing.
Always going through your drawers. Used to have good stuff in your drawers, but you don't know what.
Well, no, because you've had it all. Anything that's half interested, he's like, I'll have that, you're not using it.
Well, you don't. If it's in your cupboard or drawers, it's out of sight, out of mind for you. So.
Did you pinch his pink candy things?
His what, sorry?
Steady.
It's pink candy things that he used to have in that same cupboard.
Oh, those things, yes.
No.
Everyone's probably thinking, what the hell are we talking about?
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Well, now you've said it, you've got to explain.
No.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera in shot. So what are you two doing now?
I'm making ailerons.
Yeah.
Which have little metal rods that go through them with little metal things that go on them.
If anybody's wondering what brush I'm using, by the way, I'm using the Broken Toad brush, which I don't know what mark this is Mark 2, Mark 3 Broken Toad brush, and I don't think you can buy them anymore. Really quite nice brushes, but they don't do them.
The idea is
that
he using stuff in the shop that we sell.
Yeah, but we don't sell Kolinsky brushes yet.
So you should be using a Tamiya cheap thing.
Cheap thing. What Tamiya cheap brush? Ah! Didn't want to do that. It's all gone nice and quiet.
It has, isn't it?
But he must be concentrating.
Yep. I've got thin little bits of metal flying around. Well, hopefully not flying around. Right?
So I need to stop painting wheels and watch chat.
Hey?
No. I got it.
You sure?
Just asked Bill how to cut his own finger with CA glue. Yeah, that's it. That was a few years ago now, wasn't it? Sliced myself open live on air and I was bleeding everywhere, so I decided to put kicker on it to dry it up a bit. And then obviously that nice burning sensation.
Yeah, it got a bit warm.
As it started to melt its way through my flesh. Yeah, don't try that at home, kids.
That was not the smartest thing you've ever done.
Wow, there's a long list of that.
You what?
There's a long list of things like that you could say.
Just well, then things you don't think, and then like, ow, shouldn't have done that. It's a bit late.
It's a bit late now. Yeah, we've gone past that now. So yes.
Christopher wants to see the Blue Thunder review.
Hey?
The Blue Thunder review's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah, I did it. Did it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
no, Blue Thunder is up there. Where are we? Let's have a look. Let me just pop this out of the way and let's have a look. I got it.
Sorry, mate. David's pulled back. Thank you for the tip about the knitting elastic for aerials.
Yes.
On your live show last week. I've now acquired some and will use it instead of invisible thread. Right. Yes. Right. Mission models paint. Let's just say yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking of questions, Alan says, hello from North Queensland. Are you fine with the political situation around building and obviously Zvezda kits? Again, that's it. I haven't built a Zvezda kit for a while. Funny enough, I did two literally off the belt before that happened last year.
Yeah.
So again, the only thing I will say on this, obviously, a lot of people have very, very strong feelings about this, and we don't really want to get anything political on this channel, clearly, because we don't. But I'm just going to simply say is that obviously, Zvezda, they are just human people with a company trying to do it. And I know obviously a lot of people say, but it's Russian and it's state and obviously things like that. But, they're a company who are trying to sell kits as well at the end of the day. And, it's a shame because let's face it, just when it happened, they released the SU-25, which is actually a really nice kit. But like many, I decided not to review it. It was one of those things. It's, but as a company, we can't blame the company for the country or the political thing that's happening there, is it? So anyway, I will leave that right there. Questions in terms of football, eh? Noticed the complaint the same as we Americans would think of as a professional foul type of penalty committed during a match. Hey, what? Question.
I don't know.
In the term in the football, notice of complaint. I don't get that one, Jim. Question. And have you tried mission model paints and your thoughts? Yeah, I've tried them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be building a new Russian on the brain now. My mind's going. I'm building a new Revell Hawker's Hurricane 1/32 scale. I've got the Edard cockpit too. What paint would you recommend to match the Edard's cockpit green?
AK real colour. Or green.
Yeah, it is a good shout, actually.
What's that?
The colour to match Edard stuff. The trouble with Edard, their printing sometimes isn't exact to people's cockpit colours. What I tend to do, just to help that along a little bit, is to literally put in a wash over the top of everything. So, and that includes over if it's a colour photo etch set, for instance, or a 3D printed or whatever it is, just to help blend it all in together, then I tend to go through. But I think you'll find that obviously the instrument panel and that on World War One, Two, and a certain extent after post is black. So it's only modern stuff where they tend to have like grey cockpits and stuff like that, where the instrument panel sometimes doesn't match, the greys that are in the inside. So I tend to put a wash over them anyway, just to help blend them in there. So you could go over a very thin grey wash, or obviously you just give it like a shadow type wash with some oils, things like that as well, just to get them to blend a little bit more. But trust me, having built a Hurricane and spent a fortune on certain aftermarket bits for it that you can't see.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't see a lot of Hurricane.
No, like I built the 24th scale Hurricane, the trumpeter one, last year. Can't really see it because it's buried so deep in there that it doesn't stand out at all. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think you'd be absolutely fine in there. Phil, oh yeah, we've done that one. You've done that, Matt. I'm back here somewhere.
Sorry, have I jumped ahead of the question?
Yeah, no, it's fine. What do you recommend for thinning extra acrylics? I'm struggling with it. Beading. What? High compatibility thinners? Does that work?
No, the Gen 3s.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, not the high compatibility stuff, because that's the lacquer one.
Oh, right, okay.
No, that one I sent you. Show them, Phil. Show them. Sell them. And what we'll do as well, I will demo it to show it does work, because I've got some extra acrylics here, and I'll show you what it's thinned and sprayed with the Gen 3 own thinners. Yeah. Because it does work, funnily enough. And I'm not going to thingy like mixing and matching thinners and, paint brands and all that, but this actually does work. So I'll demo it on one of our live streams. So either watch it back at some point, or we'll say when we're going to do it, because Phil's going to put all timestamps in these, aren't you?
Am I? Is that the afternoon day we're done with? Krista says, funny to see how Matt holds his tools differently. When I'm painting tiny things, I hold the brush almost at the tip.
Right. Hey, as long as it works, it don't matter how you hold it. don't matter how you wiggle your worm. As long as it does that, just depends what I'm painting. I mean, I'm not comfortable like people holding it like that. Does it mean it's like that? Yeah. No, I tend to hold it a bit further away and like a pen, I suppose, or a pencil, whatever. But yeah, I mean, whatever works, isn't it? As long as you get the desired effect, it doesn't matter how you hold it. But yeah.
You got to remember that Matt's also
superior being,
handicapped in the way of his hands.
Okay, John says, Matt and Andy, did Hobbyco get back to you about the F14A Tomcat kits?
It's coming in this week, yes.
Oh, there we go.
It's ordered and it will be in probably, I am seeing said person on Monday, because we've got the big Lotuses coming in as well. And I need some other bits and bobs, so it is ordered and it'll be in this week. So yes, you will be getting one.
Must admit, I was on the call with you as well, wasn't I, when you were talking to him?
You was.
Was that? Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, was it?
Oh. Yeah, I was chatting with him yesterday.
That's so quick.
Said person. So yeah, so you will be getting your F14.
Matt, when it comes to the wheels on your 222 kit, I'm building the same. But I was doing the early Hobby Boss version of the said kit with rubber wheels.
Kit. That is
a nice wonder if it's worth upgrading to resin.
I've not seen the Hobby Boss wheels, because Def Model do some. Do they? Is it Def Model who do them? A set. I mean, this is a cheap kit, to be honest. The updated wheels will cost more than the actual kit, so I'm just going to stick with the Tamiya ones. I think, to be honest with you, the Hobby Boss one's quite a nice kit. Some of these. I think that's your call, really. If you think they need upgrading, do it. If you're going to think they're going to bring something to it, I suppose obviously these are styrene. Like I've just read the thing, they're rubber, aren't they? They've got them rubber, like these. Actually, I've got some behind me, like those, aren't they?
Up a bit, can't see.
Sorry,
there you go.
Yeah, sorry, them ones. But you can just flick the middles out like that.
Yeah.
That's soft rubber. Well, these don't break down anymore because the old rubber ones used to break down, didn't they?
I was going to say, I think this is something that's probably a little bit out of date now. The original ones, over time, you'd leave them on the shelf and they go sticky on the bottom. But modern ones, vinyl now, doesn't do that. I think it's just, the old 70s and 80s kits used to do it, but they've changed the vinyl now. It doesn't break down like it used to.
It's a... Because these are paintable and everything now and weatherable. A lot better than they used to be. So... would I update them? Probably not, because I'm tight. But unless they're putting an order in, unless they're really, really bad.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, for the price, I think I'd just stick with the ones that come with a kit and use them.
Yeah.
Get away with them. I've used them before, because Trumpy did the same thing, don't they? And I've done it on their grad that I've done and some other bits and bobs, and they've come out really fine with pigments and stuff. Not really good. I think I did it. There's a thing on the PM channel, demo on painting wheels and weathering them.
Yes.
As there is of using gauzy as well, for anybody who's asking. I did a little demo on using gauzy, didn't I? So I would stick with the kit wheels and save yourself some pennies, because I don't think you'll probably need to upgrade them. There you go. There's my answer.
Nice. You know what? I've just made a complete cock up.
Have you? What?
I've made 2 lefts on me plane. So brilliant.
You've made 2 lefts?
I've made 2 left wheel well doors instead of 1 right, 1 left.
Oh,
oh.
That's not concentrating on the job in hand.
Sugar.
Right, I'm back on chat, so you can talk us through how you're going to get yourself out of that.
Right, well, I'm going to have to... So, yeah, we're fine on this side. Look, that's hunky-dory. That one's fine. And then this one, yeah, I've just managed to make up another wrong side. So this is the wrong bit on here. It needs to be, should have been that way. So what we're going to try and do is pull it apart. So we'll do the old glue trick, a bit more glue into it, let it eat in a little bit, and then hopefully this will peel. There you go. Bing. Switch it over.
Yeah.
Stick it onto this side. And then we will hopefully reprofile, reshape. I can't believe we've done that. Right, okay, let's try that.
Is that with really not concentrating on what you were doing?
That's probably me not concentrating. So what I need to do is then sand down this bit to reprofile on the other side, and that'll be fine. It'll be nobody will know anything about that. So yes, there's that. Right, because I want to show you this one. I'll do one to demo. So this is crystal clear about doing windows. I often get asked about this. I use this one. The biggest thing I've ever done was a certain window on a helicopter live, a big 35th scale dolphin thing, Coast Guard. And I did one that was about 1.5 centimeters square. But obviously we can do things smaller. So we just take a dollop of the old crystal clear. You come into your said window. Hold on, I need to see this as well as you guys. And then round the window. God, hold on. Round the window and then pull away. I'll do another one and I'll try and watch myself on camera do this. This is a bit like being a surgeon. So window is in. So this one goes in here. Said around and work it all the way around. Fill it right up, gently out. And these will dry, hopefully. Crystal clear, hence the name. So again, we're just gonna, I know it's very difficult for you guys to see as well. I'm trying to do this at an angle you can all see it. So again, we just roll it in here, get a bit going, gently pull away, windows in. So the great thing about this, if you're doing it, is that you can do this obviously now, but if you're using it for masking technique as well, you can come back to this later on. So, you know, you could take it out and then just put a new one in later. Nowhere enough of glue on here, I don't think. So, hold on, see if we can get this stretched. No, it needs more glue. So again, and then gently, so there's enough still to fill. But I did do like literally a massive one once this way, and it worked an absolute treat. I was amazed it did, and actually to this day it is still pretty good and clear.
That's on the helicopter, isn't it?
Yeah, I did the door because it didn't have a window on the door, so I had to cut open the door and do it. So again, it's just getting enough in there, and there we go. That's how we do the windows. Make sure I've not got any on my fingers. And then this will, you don't have to hold it level or anything. It's quite happy to sit, and these will just go clear. Hopefully by the end of the show, well, we've got 10 minutes or 10-15 minutes, it will start to go translucent and you can see it. Obviously the thicker they are, the more it will take. But by this was also what you could do is if you didn't want to get overspray on the inside and you're doing it, put it in first like now, because you've hardly got any on the outside. It's all just down in there on the inside. And then that way you can then spray right over this and all the rest of it, punch them out and then redo it afterwards as well. So you could use it as a temporary type thing. So there we go. That's those on there just like that. So like for this one, technically it needs a satin coat right over it, but I've run out of time today because I was doing this. So what I'll end up doing is I will spray satin all over this. That'll fog these windows. We'll punch them out. So literally just stick a pin through them and pull them out. And then we'll redo it afterwards again. So that's the plan with that one anyway. So we'll go right the way through. But yeah, you can see that door's on there now. So what will happen is the gear will then come in here, and obviously we've got to take a bit off of it, but then the gear will come in and we'll sit in here something like this. There you go, something like that, and that'll be our gear in place then right the way through. So again, just need the other door to sort itself out. We'll trim this thing down and we'll do that one. But if we leave that a minute, hopefully it'll be clear by the time we leave, or getting clear anyway. So we're just sticking down there. Good job.
Yeah.
So yes, good old crystal clear. Must admit, big fan of it. I've been using it for donkey's years, and it's just one of those that I do all my clear parts with it. And then that way, like canopies, stuff like that as well. If it goes wrong, you can just take it out and go again, you know. So, but yeah, we did literally, it was like centimetre and a half square on the old Delphin. I'll have to get it out one day with all the others. I know I was going to get the Huey out as well, but I still haven't moved everything out of the way to get in there and get it. So, but yes, very nice. Question for Andy. Pre-orders. The Meng 112 square scale McLaren MP4. Would it be possible if there's enough people interested?
Yeah, we'll do it anyway. We'll put that up. I've seen that yesterday. We only got an email about it yesterday. So Andy will get that up next week. Because, that does look quite cool, actually, doesn't it? Because the new Phantom as well, the E, is it? F4E?
Yeah.
It's finally going to...
I'm muted. You can't hear me.
Can't hear you.
I'm muted. So we were waiting for a price, weren't we? So
yeah, we've got prices. No, there's no afternoon show. It's just this morning today, and then me and Phil will be back on Tuesday. I reckon.
Tuesday afternoon. I think we're on, aren't we?
Are we doing Tuesday afternoon or morning?
I think it might have to be afternoon.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. Yep, good with me. No afternoon, morning show. All right, okay. John's I'm about to order a new airbrush. Is the Mr. Hobby airbrush still recommended over the HS Infinite? Yes, definitely. Or you can save yourself some money and buy a Fenger Benger 500 for 25 quid off Amazon.
Which I'm still using, me Fenger Benger.
Grab yours. There you go, here's mine. So this is a Fenger.
They do work really well, don't they?
Yeah, for the price, yeah.
To be fair, I'm sort of, whatever I pick up is what I use.
One thing I've noticed, me and Matt have spoke about, when you first buy this airbrush, it's a little bit clunky. Yeah. But the more you use it, the more, like this trigger now it's a little bit more punchy. It's a lot more tension in it than other airbrushes, but it is smooth now. Whereas before it was a little bit, when you drew back the needle, for instance, it felt like you were pulling it over a road. Now it's really bedded in quite nicely and it works really well. I've been spraying metallizers through this recently, and I've been using it as my metallizer daily driver because obviously you can turn the pressure down, which is quite nice on this. But yeah, 25 quid this airbrush. And how long we had it now? About 6 months?
Something like that, yeah.
And
It's been a while.
I haven't changed needle nozzles or anything else like that. It's still, working really, really nicely.
I don't want to say it. It's a disposable item in a funny way because of the price. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. You always think of airbrushes as really, really expensive, and they are, aren't they? Some are.
Yeah.
But this is kind of one of them where it's, if the needle goes, it's probably cheaper to buy a new airbrush than it is to faff about.
Again, like we don't flog these, so I'm not pushing it or anything else like that. But again, Matt got older one, and we were discussing all about it. And again, it's one of those when you get a proper box with it, you get spares, you get all your stuff. You get spare needles and all stuff with it as well. For 25 quid, I thought this probably wouldn't last. But you got complete backup nozzles as well. I think it's a 0.4, isn't it, in this as well? And stuff. But again, it's 0.3 needle, so it's got a 0.2 in it and a 0.3 it comes with.
Yeah, 0.2 and 0.3. Yeah.
So
actually now £22.55 on eBay.
Oh, there you go. £22.
Oh, sorry, on Amazon. Sorry.
Quick, we need an affiliate.
I'm going to buy another one.
It is, but obviously we've spoken about this. For the price of this airbrush and the quality you get, I wasn't expecting anything, and I was completely blown away. And I have often said to people, don't buy cheap because it will just waste your money. Actually, I've had this thing 6 months and using it, and it's really, really nice. Working very, very well. I expected it, and like we were saying, if it had only last, let's face it, a couple of weeks, for 25 quid, you don't care. It's almost disposable. It's cheaper to buy a new one than it is to buy a needle nozzle set for other manufacturers.
Hey, you'd think like just buy one for primer, but it's actually too good for just primering with it. It works. It's an all right paintbrush. Airbrush.
Hey, £22.55 is ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sort of like thinking, should I add one to basket?
He's going to.
It's just for the money. It's a no-brainer. Like I say, even if you just keep it painting metallics or.
Yeah, I must admit, I've been using metallics because I used to use my whatever it was, iWater thingy, but it ain't got a Mac valve on it. No. So it's just as easier because obviously it's got it built in. You can just pop it straight on then.
Yeah, it's just mad. It's just mad for the money they cost.
Yeah.
So can't find a US distributor for Fenger. Don't this Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah. Just Amazon.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's a Fenger 500. It's not really. It's just a Fenger in it.
It's a Fenger FE.
Yeah, I just brought it up. There you go.
180K. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there you go. Let screenshot. Pause now. That's the one you want.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I say on eBay. Sorry, Amazon UK, it's £22.55.
Yeah, but again, it's almost disposable. You pay more than that for a needle nozzle set combo.
Yeah,
there you go. John's put Fingers or Ace. Can have a couple for the price of a Steenbeck needle, probably.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think Peter's put. He's used his finger once, but found it a bit agricultural. They are to begin with.
Yes.
You just got to use them, and they kind of bed in. It is weird because they do feel really, really clunky.
Yeah, I must admit, it's the one thing I would say. Me and Matt were discussing it a couple of weeks ago and saying that I've noticed it's bedding in because it's actually, you had that thing where you used to pull on the needle, it felt like it was pulling over a road. It's really, really sort of gritty and gravelly. But now, I must admit, that's just as smooth as any of my other airbrushes. Really, really nice. It beds in.
Peter, just a bit of advice: don't strip your airbrush down, mate.
Yeah.
He's giving it a full strip down. Don't do that.
You make problems for yourself.
Just making yourself problems by just keep stripping them down. You don't blow them through. Give them a bit of lube on the needle. Happy days. It'll good to go next time.
Yeah.
They strip it every time you use it, malarkey. Just no. I can't remember, to be honest with you, the last time I fully stripped an airbrush down to clean it.
Yeah.
I can't remember it now. Like if I've had just the nozzle off, just to. I can't. I think the last one it was probably my order in Steenbeck at Evo, the one you thingied for me, serviced.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to acrylics because before obviously I was lacquering, so it just burns itself through. But now I'm back on acrylics and I still don't seem to get it. So yeah, there you go. The compressors are quite decent too. Yeah.
All right.
Get quite warm though. I think all compressors get warm. It's nature of the beast of a compressor, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, but it is
But no.
actually it's a brilliant starter airbrush as well. Like thing is, excellent value if you model on a budget. My water loves to strip down every colour. Peter, come on, have a word, mate.
Why would you strip down every colour? That's ridiculous.
So,
that's just
no,
blow it through, goes clear, and put the next colour through it. I never bother with that.
No,
life's too short. Definitely life's too short.
Anyway, each to their own. But yeah, just no. The only thing with the finger is he doesn't repeat a lot of AK Extreme. It does get gummed up occasionally, but he's a newbie, so
yeah. Again, that's because your paint's too thick. If you're finding it's gumming up in your airbrush, it's too thick. You need it to be thinner, and you will find out. Obviously, is he saying he's using AK real colours? Oh, AK Extremes, so they're quite thin anyway. You shouldn't really have a problem with that. I must admit, I've been using it for all my metallics and haven't had a problem with it. So.
Oh right, yes. Oh yeah, Captain Magneto or Magneto, is it? Question: I've got the finger airbrush and the air's leaking out of the nozzle without the trigger being pressed. Is there an obvious fix to tighten the nozzle? I think.
I've got videos on this. Let me do a quick show because again, it saves me. I get hundreds of literally every month questions about this said thing. So if you go over to tutorials, it's all free to watch this and all the rest of it. You don't pay for any of this, right? Yeah. If you go to airbrushing, basic airbrushing, and then obviously you've got things about setup and stuff like that. The one at the top here is troubleshooting. So if you click on that, get rid of the annoying title, and I talk through all the things of why airbrushes have the normal problems. And I demo it and show it as well. About when it's going wrong and obviously sounds and stuff. And I talk about all different things about when you get no air coming through, when you've got no paint coming through, when you've got nothing at all. And hopefully it will solve a multitude of problems. But we talk about nozzle sizes down in here because a lot of people put the wrong nozzle in the actual end cap as well, because that's very common. And obviously the hole needs to be, because you can, well, especially with H&S brushes, they all fit.
I don't know any. You've got problems if you keep doing that, Matt.
Yeah, he does that. But look, there you go. You can see there, there's a bit of thing, and it actually says here about the nozzles. You can see the difference in the nozzles in size there. It's one of those things. And then obviously in a moment, I think we get the housing for them. Here we go. Look, this is a real common thing, isn't it, Matt? Who does that? So you can see the whole difference in these.
You had yours for ages, weren't you?
I'm wondering why you get no air, because it's that hole is what lets the air through. So if you've got the wrong size in here, like we're showing now, you get no hole at the end, which means no air can come through, Matt. So yeah, that's what that is. So you need to put in the right nozzle for your right airbrush and various things. Then we go on and we talk about bubbles in the colour cup. I think I show it in here as well. There we go. Look, bubbles in your colour cup. Coming through. There we go. That's it. I've just fixed it, obviously, in that one. There we go. Back here, it'll be something about putting them through. And then, obviously, you know, all the other ones as well, the bits and pieces. So, but yes, there we go. Look, getting bubbles coming through. That means your end cap isn't got your seal, it isn't seated correctly. And it's leaking air back into the system because it can come back. This is the one in one of the videos, I've got some really cheesy diagrams that I did as well about explaining it all.
What lube would you use?
I don't tend to use lube.
You go in hard and dry, don't you?
I do. I go in hard and dry. But anyway, look, there's lots of different videos down here explaining everything about air colours. If you're new to airbrushing, have a watch. And again, there's some live ones on YouTube. These are all on YouTube as well somewhere if you can find them, but they're all in one thing. And then again, I've got some pictures here. And we talk about thicknesses of paint and all these different things as well. But yeah, you know, hopefully it explains how airbrushes work and all stuff like that. Again, it's one of those ones. It can be quite complicated, shall we say, going through it all. But
what's actually a good lube is actually WD-40.
I use WD-40. Obviously, not down the business end of your airbrush, as in nozzles and needles and things, but the mechanics, obviously down by the trigger area and the top of the air stem and things like that. WD-40 every time.
Or to be honest, I've been thinking with Vaseline before you've on the needle. Vaseline works because that's obviously
KY jelly.
Any of them sort of things, you know.
Yeah, you could use a water-based lube down the front end, But don't put silicons and those types, because otherwise your paint will hate you for it, and you have loads and loads of trouble.
Yeah.
What's the blue stuff?
That's super lube, isn't it? That's water-based. It's basically KY jelly.
So I always just use it all the time, but I've not lubed my needle.
What about your airbrushing?
Hey, he needs some sex wax.
Sex wax. What, rub on his board when he's going surfing?
I've not lubed my needle for a long time.
No, I must admit, I don't lube needles and things. So say occasionally I just give it a quick squirt of WD-40 down by the trigger assembly. And again, the Fenger likes that. It'll probably help make it a little bit better.
It does, I think. Yeah, it does. Polishing the needle a little bit helps as well, to be honest. If you do look with under the super duper magnifying glass, they are a bit rough, but they do, like I say, they wear in, they bed in over time. So, yeah, good. Right.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is this the 9 p.m. show? Oh God, you should hear those shows. They're totally different.
I tell you, when it gets onto needles and loops, it's the
worst thing is me trying to explain it, and I'm like, so you go like this, and it's like, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah, it just turns into
Yes, it's like comedy night. Look, I can't show this because it hasn't gone. Oh, it's starting to go clear. Hold on, look, we can just about see it going clear on here. Look, hold on. I'm going to close that cam. There we go. Hopefully you can see it starting to clear on this one.
Yep.
Going clear, going clear. Still a little bit thick. Obviously, if you've got thicker ones on here, it takes a little bit longer for it to go, but they will go crystal clear. So next time we're on, you can see that. I will show it.
What are you doing with them doors? They're a bit white.
Yeah, I will paint these in. I need to sand. This is the one I got cocked up. But yeah, we'll get these painted. Also, I've got to make a slot in them at the top here for the gear to go through them as well, and then glue them in.
All right, okay. So what's up with the kick doors?
It doesn't come with them.
Really?
No, because it doesn't do it for gear closed. Because obviously this is the trouble. You get these with it, and as we can see, we had a bit of trouble because they're the wrong shape.
All right, okay.
So there's no way they actually work. So I've made these up. So we'll paint these in, and then obviously the wheels will go in and hang over, which will be something like that when we go in or something.
Is that how they go? Is it in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Putting all the riveting back in on the door.
Yeah. I will be re-riveting it all, clearly. Not. So yes, it'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Blimey. But all right, been productive today, aren't we?
Look, Andy's built a Spitfire.
He nearly has. He'll be painting it soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this kit.
Have you got your mojo back?
Yeah, so much so that the next group build that we've got on the forum, 1950s, I'm trying to think what 30-second Tamiya kit I could do for that.
I've told him you can do a Corsair or a P51.
Or a P51.
Yeah, you could do a P51 in it.
Yeah.
I'd do a Corsair.
Because, hold on, Tamiya, did they release the F, whatever it is, the K version?
They did the
F51, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they do it as the P51K?
I don't know, but you could use that for a Korean one. Yeah,
which is the F, yeah. They definitely do it in Korean markings, yeah. And then the Corsair, the later Corsair that was in Korean markings, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know what to think about that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got neither of them in my stash, so got a Corsair, but wrong one.
Look at that. Friends arrived literally as we're about to all go home.
I know. You can watch it back. You can watch
it back, yeah. You can watch the replay of it.
Yeah, watch the replay.
The Spitfire is a Tamiya. It's Mark 9, isn't it?
Yeah, Mark 9, yeah. Really.
Tamiya 30-second scale Mark 9. Lovely kit.
Yeah.
Beautiful kit. Oh, very nice.
Like you just woke up, Andy.
Because I have my visor on and my head. It was right best, doesn't it?
Have we been watching a pre-record of Andy who's just literally got out of bed and Tim finished?
Yeah, that's it. He's just been pre-recorded something and stuck it up.
Because I have my operative visor on my head all the time.
Chris says we need to think about 1950s group builds.
You do, Christopher. You are absolutely correct.
Yes, that's it. That'll be next.
Got a month and a half yet, haven't we? Well, a month and a week for me to get this finished.
Most of them are available. The only ones I think aren't available are the F15s. I think only the Bunker Buster one. The one Phil built we had to order in special. All the F4s I'm pretty sure are available. The Zero's not. The Zero's definitely not, because we had to order that in on a special import order thing. But the P51s are. The Spitfires are definitely available. Most of the F4s are. The Corsairs are. So most of it is. It just gives a shout, John, if there's any of them you want, and we'll see. But definitely you can't get the Zero, and you can't get Phil's F15. Is that an E you did?
I did the C. Yeah.
C.
Is the Mosquito still available?
Yeah, but it's expensive. But yeah, you can still get it. Yeah, Moz is still available.
Do you know what? You know, we were talking about refurbing kits and redoing them.
You're not doing that?
I thought about the Mozzie.
Why? Why would you want to refurb that? That looks all right.
It's dusty as hell and sat over there with bits falling off of it.
All right.
But as in refurb, as in what, though? How would you refurb
Repaint.
it?
Well, I could take the engines off of it and then repaint it.
Because just as a thing, we were on about, obviously, I've got boxes of kits at work that are in things, and obviously Phil's got a lot there. And we're on about, for these streams of like perhaps refurbing a couple, because obviously your skill set progresses over how many years you do the hobby, and things change and all that. And it's just like, instead of actually building the said kit again, is to update it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're not on about like stripping it all back down either to styrene and going all that route. It's just
sand it back and go again.
Re-weather, decal it, whatever. So yeah, there's some options there, isn't there?
Yeah, no, I think it's a thing that we will definitely be covering in the near future.
Well, one thing I was going to do, that I've binned it because I've lost some parts, but I've got another potential candidate up there that I bought back that might be good for a refurb, so we'll see. But yeah. Oh, good.
Right, okay then, guys, we will leave it right there. Don't forget, you can pop over if you want to the PM store, which is just loading through here. Obviously, we've got all the kits, got the new arrivals. We've got that gorgeous Hobby Boss Hurricane, which I reviewed. I think it's a stunning kit, absolutely fantastic kit. And all the other goodies, as you can see down in our latest releases. Oh, I've got the review of this coming up next week as well.
Just scroll back up. I did forget, but I'll show it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I did get home. I was going to show it on cam. The old Vespid Centurion.
Yeah.
So if you're going to watch on Tuesday, I'll do a quick. I'm not going to open. We'll just have a quick look at it. Because I don't know if it's sealed or they come in them poly bags. Hopefully they come in the poly bags or resealable. But we'll have a look, because there's some of the 3D printed parts. Look.
Yeah.
So I'll have a quick butchers without ripping the bags open, if you know what I mean. But it does look really nice. Hey, look, links from length tracks. That's always handy.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll have a proper bit of a look at that on Tuesday.
Yes.
When Phil showed the store, and it says on the top, we've still got 20% off Kinetic. Kinetic's now in the special offers section.
Yes.
I wasn't saying because I've not got much left.
Because there's only a little bit left. But if you do want to grab some of those in our special section. Plus the fact we've got all your tools, your sundries, your glues and paints and everything. Everything you can imagine all down in here as well. So if you want to grab any of those bits, then please feel free to. Don't forget, you can join up to the Flory Models site if you want to get more of this type of stuff. And why wouldn't you? Just pop along at the top here under membership, click in there, and you can read about how you can join up. You can either come in through Patreon, very straightforward, no problem at all, or you can do it direct, and I'll send you links. Both of them get to the forum and all the stuff where you can get in with the other guys as well. So yes, good job.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Right, okay then, guys, we will leave it right there. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back with you on Tuesday afternoon. So if you want to come along for a couple of 90-minute shows during the week, you can pop along and see us with those ones as well. And then obviously we will be back live for the members and everything on Thursday night.
Thursday, full show Thursday, isn't there?
Full show on Friday night for the adult version, where we'll be talking about lubrications. Where to stick it, when to stick it, and where not to stick it.
Exactly that.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly that.
Cool. Right. Okay then, guys, we're out of here. Thank you very much for joining us. Big thank you to Matt and Andy as well. And obviously for you guys, the Flory members, for making this happen as well. So, yes, lovely job. Good job. We will see you all again very soon. Great show. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hold on, I've got 5